Science has been around for many years, advancing humanity to newer heights. But sometimes science can go a little wrong and the creation or the specimen you're working on completely turns against you. Like Mewtwo, the clone of Mew, and Lucy, the queen of the Diclonius. But first a disclaimer, I am using anime and manga feats for both. If you're wondering, I read the entirety of the Elfen Lied Manga. Boy, that took a while, but it was worth it. And just so you know, I'm using Mewtwo's personality from the first movie, after he liked humans and disliked fighting. Also, I won't be including Shadow Mewtwo from Pokken, since he's pretty damn OP, but I will be including Mega Evolutions. Anyway, I'm TJ Man, and it's my job to analyze both fighters to see who would win a cartoon clash. Or in this case, it's more of an anime clash, but whatever, let's get started. A long time ago, two scientists named Dr. Fuji and Blaine wanted to create the most powerful Pokemon using the eyebrow of Mew and Blaine putting in some of his own DNA. As the clone Pokemon started maturing, he learns of his origin as Mew's clone from the scientists. Infuriated that Fuji and his colleagues see him as nothing more than an experiment, he destroys the laboratory. Well, that kind of backfired on them, didn't it? Giovanni, witnessing the carnage from afar, convinces Mewtwo to work with him. However, Giovanni only wanted to use him for his own needs. Mewtwo obviously didn't approve of this, so he escaped and rebuilt the laboratory somehow. That's pretty impressive. So after this, Mewtwo wanted to destroy both humans and Pokemon, and sent out invites to other trainers to challenge him by fooling people into thinking he was a Pokemon trainer. With all the trainers trapped in a building with a Pokemon they couldn't defeat or capture, Mewtwo's goal was almost finished. However, after learning a bit more about how Pokemon and people understood each other, he learned a valuable lesson.
I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. It is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are.
Aw, how beautiful. Also, low-key, I nearly cried at Ash's death, and this was recent, so yeah, I'm a softie. Anyway, with his backstory out of the way, let's talk about his powers. First off, like every psychic power user, he's able to toss stuff around. He can even toss heavy Pokemon like they're nothing with his psychic power. He can also conjure up storms and rip apart buildings. If he's really in a pinch, he can simply erase his opponent's memories, making them forget everything. He can also teleport, fire bursts of pure psychic energy at his opponents, which can also fire through solid constructs, fly at massively hypersonic speeds, it's swift, can foresee attacks with future sight, and can somehow throw cuts made of psychic energy with Psycho Cut, because that makes perfect sense. Another nice perk is even though he's weak to dark types, he can just use Aura Sphere. And finally, he has Psy Strike, his most powerful move, if you have the patience to train him up to level 100. His stats as a Pokemon are pretty powerful with high speed, attack, and special attack. His defenses aren't too shabby either, but he's a legendary Pokemon, so what do you expect? Now it may seem that Mewtwo is only offensive, but that's where you're wrong, kiddo. In the movie, he was able to make force fields to completely block attacks. But as for moves, he has Barrier, which raises his defenses, and Amnesia, which raises his attack stats. We swap power with him with Power Swap. He can do the same thing with his defenses if he wants to. Now that's what I call hacks. And if he starts to take too much damage, he can simply heal himself with Recover. So if you think Mewtwo is already powerful as it is, you haven't seen nothing yet, he can Mega Evolve into Mega Mewtwo Y to raise his power even more. Mega Mewtwo Y is so powerful, its base stat total is above even Arceus. And in Pokemon's Super Mystery Dungeon, it along with Rayquaza and Deoxys pushed back a wave of dark matter powerful enough to stop the Earth's movement entirely and even pull it toward the sun. To hold back such a force would require 0.938 10-to-10 split between the three of them. Jesus Christ. Even though he was created to be perfect, he isn't perfect. Since he's a psychic type, Mewtwo has weaknesses to dark and bug type attacks, and his psychic attacks can be completely nullified by anything with a dark type to it. And once Mewtwo Mega Evolves, he can not revert to his base form. He's also a bit cocky in the first movie, but not too bad. But I mean, if you were as powerful as him, wouldn't you be a bit cocky as well? But he's considered one of the most powerful Pokemon for quite a reason. Kaide, better known as Lucy, is part of a race called Dicloniuses. Dicloni? I'm going with Dicloni. The Diclonius are a race of people who are an evolution of humans and want to infect people to make even more Dicloni, and then wipe out all of humanity. They have cute horns though. So after some scientists capture her, she's taken into a facility where she'll be experimented on, at least until she escaped, and boy, that was pretty gruesome. Anyway, let's go back a bit. As an infant, Lucy was abandoned and sent to an orphanage to suffer. And it was all because she had horns, because holy shit, apparently having horns means you get unfairly bullied. But then she found a puppy and took care of it. The dog and her became best friends. Now I'm gonna go on a tangent here. See how a puppy doesn't care what she looks like? That's the beauty of pets. They love you no matter what. Dogs are better than humans, people. The devilish children eventually find the dog, and then the most horrific scene in all of anime happens. Now, is she really in the wrong here? Those bullies got off easy. They got killed quick and painlessly. Anyway, this is the first time Lucy used her vectors, but again, it was for good reason. The vectors are basically invisible forces that sprout out of her back and go 2 meters in front of her, unless she's incredibly pissed to where they get much, much longer. It also makes her able to use more and her horns get longer. This is where she reaches full potential. Her vectors can be unleashed at different frequencies, and each level of vibration has different effects. At low frequencies, her vectors can pass through objects with no effect. At a medium frequency, the vectors become solid while still invisible. These can be used as shields and lift heavy objects. She even is able to fly by putting her invisible hands on the ground to lift her up. With a third frequency, Lucy's vectors turn to invisible blades. These can cut through metal. And with the last frequency, Lucy shows her explosive personality. They can blow shit up, basically. After she escaped from the lab and got shot in the head, she got a few new personalities. One was New, a passive personality, and as New, Lucy finally found friends. And her final personality, her DNA, which almost never comes out, it basically tells her to murder people and do what the clone are supposed to do. Lucy's fast enough to block bullets from point blank range, and even blocked a bullet that had already shot her before it hit her heart. Now here I'm going to steal a calculation from Death Battle. To do this, she had to move her vectors at 1,900 miles per hour. Sorry guys, I read the entire manga and the calc was already done, so it's not like I did anything too terrible. If I did the calc, it'd be the same result. She can throw small rocks and make them hit at the same force as bullets, and throw even bigger boulders and even make force fields to block missiles. Another durability feat is she survived the bombs in Mariko's body exploding on her. Her vectors can get so powerful that they can destroy the top of a tower and destroy most of an island. The island feat was even compared to a nuclear explosion. Her vectors can even become powerful enough to be as wide as buildings, and reach into outer space. The vectors in space are so long, wide, and fast that they could destroy planets. This is also backed up by the fact she said she could destroy the Earth. However, Lucy has a few weaknesses. Her vectors can be stopped if one of her horns are broken. At her strongest, she was able to protect against the military and heal Kauta. Now it's unknown if she's able to heal herself or not. However, she was melting while using it, so probably not. Even though she has these weaknesses, she's pretty damn powerful, and I wouldn't go near her, unless she had her cute new personality. Alright, the commands are ready. Let's settle this once and for all. It's time for an anime clash. Lucy! Damn it. Well, let's see why Mewtwo beats Lucy. Lucy is incredibly powerful, but Mewtwo has quite a few tricks up his sleeve to take her down. Firstly, if you think about it, the power difference is pretty obvious. Yes, Lucy can destroy planets, but that's when she's at her absolute limit, and it's not like she would immediately use that, since she wouldn't know Mewtwo's power before the battle. However, Mewtwo can read minds, so he'd actually be able to analyze Lucy during the battle. Now for the difference in power. Mewtwo jabbed the spoon right through Deoxys' core. This is impressive because Deoxys tanked a meteor from Mega Rayquaza that would have been able to destroy a planet. Now the spoon is made out of his psychic energy, so Mewtwo's full psychic power should be able to destroy planets. Now for Lucy. If we look at this picture, her vectors were able to reach space in seconds, which is massively hypersonic if you're wondering. And the width and size of them compared to the Earth would be able to destroy continents and maybe even the planet. The way this is backed up is because she said she'd be able to destroy the planet if she wanted. Now yes, they're both able to destroy planets, however, Mewtwo can do this with major difficulty, but not to where it's fatal, while Lucy has to be at her absolute best limit while melting to be able to achieve this. Now on to durability. While Lucy's vectors are really impressive, being able to block a missile, Mewtwo is able to use his force fields to effortlessly stop a Rhyhorn charging at him. Now according to the Pokédex, Rhyhorns can topple skyscrapers with their charges. And he was even able to block a Gyarados' Hyper Beam with his force field. Now according to the Pokédex entry of Gyarados, in a rage they're able to destroy cities. So yeah, the fact Mewtwo was able to simply block this without blinking an eye, the durability difference is pretty obvious. And without psychic power, Mewtwo can take hits from Darkrai, who can damage Dialga and Palkia, who are kinda just the masters of space and time. However, Lucy stops using her vectors, the source of all her power, from a simple gunshot to one of her horns. Without her vectors, however, she was able to survive a nasty explosion from Rico. But this knocked her out, and Mewtwo could easily surpass the power of the explosion. Now since her vectors are 2 times the speed of sound, without reaching her limit, this means she should be able to fly this fast, and is massively hypersonic at her full limit. However, remember this is with her vectors. Without them, she's just as fast, if not faster than a normal human. However, Mewtwo is relativistic, which is higher than massively hypersonic, because he should be able to be faster than Poliwrath, who in the manga was able to avoid Doom Desire, which is sunlight according to the Pokédex. With the difference in power, speed, and durability, Lucy did not stand too good of a chance. I will give her credit though, she's more intent to kill, and her attacks are arguably faster, since her vectors can move to space in seconds. However, even if she'd be able to damage Mewtwo a good amount, he could simply use Recover to heal his wounds, which would screw her over. And since Mewtwo was created to be smarter than all humans, he has the intelligence advantage. Now remember, the feats used to compare were all when Mewtwo was in base form, so in his Mega form he'd completely stomp with ease because the feats mentioned would be enhanced further past Lucy's feats. Man, I really wish I could give Lucy more credit, because I love Elfen Lied, but sadly Mewtwo is just much more powerful. I guess Mewtwo took the lead, and Lucy had new escape. The winner is Mewtwo. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.